on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the NBA Slate Starter Podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Ryan as we break down Wednesday's 11-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings, FanDuel, and our sponsor, Yahoo. 4 out of the 5 games on today's slate, that being Tuesday, March 29th, are currently underway. I'm not doing so well, which is not great because I know I have almost no exposure to that late night hammer. Clippers, Utah, one of the weirder slates I can ever remember. I didn't play much volume. Kind of enjoyed it because this Gobert thing is just such lingering piece of news. Ryan, what did you do to account for such a massive miss in terms of what could be for a guy that can matter big time on the slate or not matter at all?
I just had to take my chances with the rest of the field. And if he puts up 45 or 50, it's going to burn me. And the way the center slate is, he might need to only put up 30 and you're in good shape so far. So it's an interesting conundrum there with Rudy Gobert. Yeah, it's just that in terms of like looking at late swap, like Gobert, if you I could still fit Gobert in some lineups. I'll have to mix and match a little bit if he were to play. But as of now, I have 0 just because I didn't think the risk was there enough. It was too high of a risk if he didn't play where I could fill in the salary to give myself a chance to win in those respective Rudy Gobert lineups. So I took a risk. I mean, it's all about taking risks and playing DFS. Maybe this risk pans out. As so far, so not. I mean, I fell on a fair share of Dwight Howard to spend down a little bit. A lot of Isaiah Stewart. It's just not looking so good right now.
It's going to be tough. It's just one of the weirder slates I can ever remember. You have a 2.5 hour gap. I knew we weren't going to get that Gobert news ahead of time. I would want to play him if I knew he was in, but also there could be some value on a slate that really had bad value, in my opinion. There wasn't anybody glaring that you needed to play or get to. The best value on the slate could be Utah backups. So it could be that way. So it was kind of a double-edged sword with that whole piece of late night news. That's why sometimes you take a night off. I didn't take it off completely. I still played maybe more than I should have, but it is what it is. We move on to Wednesday. Smash the like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Hello to everybody hanging out in Twitter Spaces. Who do we have over here today? We've got Ryan, John. We've got our good friend, Biojo Promotions, hanging out here again. Greg, Keith, Ty Blunt. Good to see everybody hanging out, talking a little NBA DFS live with us as we've been doing the show live on the Twitter Spaces. Come join us for that anytime you want. Podcast people, hello. If you're listening to us on Apple, if you're listening to us on Spotify, we really appreciate you, and we would really appreciate 5-star reviews. Goes a long way for Ryan and I to keep doing this podcast, not just into the NBA playoffs, but into next NBA season. But Ryan, 11 games, not a whole lot of time to pitter-patter on this one. You ready to get to the analysis, my lovely Michigan scorned friend?
Let's ride.
Is it cold there again today?
Very, very, yeah.
Yeah, it's just not for me. Luka Doncic, 12K on a back-to-back here. We'll see kind of how everything pans out. They got Cleveland in this spot, a tough defensive spot, but I mean, it's Luka at 12K. The price is now going up for this matchup here as well. I'm curious to get your opinion on him compared to some of these other guys, because DeJounte Murray gets the Memphis treatment, which by that I mean Memphis has been playing out of their damn minds. DeJounte Murray 11-2 though seems cheap, seems like a guy to go to, but with Trae Young at 11K going up against a terrible OKC team in OKC, we're going to have value galore. We're going to be able to spend up at some of these spots at guard. If you're paying up, who's your favorite guy to get to, Ryan?
Yeah, spending up here in guard, you're going to like obviously the guys up top. They make a lot of sense to fall on. There should be enough value on an 11-game slate to go to, but it's tough not to even. I know Luka's priced up. Tough not to like him, but the savings off like Trae Young is in must-win mode, as is the San Antonio Spurs. As they're making a chance, making their push to be in the play-in game. All of a sudden, maybe if they want to, they can be. If the Lakers keep falling apart, the Lakers are down 20 tonight, so that's what we're dealing with. I really like Trae Young against Oklahoma City, though. Kind of going back to his old stomping grounds in Oklahoma. Just seems like Trae Young's trying to carry the team on his back of late, and against Oklahoma City, why not? They're rolling out borderline Division III basketball players, it seems like. I kid, but it's
not really.
That's how poor the talent is on the court there. Spending down here, we also are dealt with Memphis, and they raised Tyus Jones up to 5,700. I still think he's in play. Last night we saw the likes of Christian Wood. Christian Wood's going to remain out, so it's going to help this Houston rotation, guys like Porter Jr. and Jalen Green. They had a great game with each other, but we saw my boy JC, Josh Christopher, light it up off the bench, and I don't mind going to him even at $3,900. He's showing why I honestly thought he was one of the better draft picks at where he was drafted. In terms of like getting such a late pick, I just think he was top 10 overall talent when he was drafted. So JC, Josh Christopher, is someone who I think we should be considering. Chris LeVert definitely still in play at $5,900, continues to start for this team. Keon Johnson's now a little too expensive for my liking. He might have some ownership with him just because he's Portland. Maladon's expensive at $5,700, but if Trey Mann's going to be out, you can go to him. It's as gross as that sounds. Maladon at $5,700, but guard's all right. It's nothing. No one sticks out like a sore thumb at the moment. You can consider Corey Kispert again if he's going to continue to play 30 plus minutes and get that 3-point bonus at $4,100.
Yeah, I played him in that one lineup I had on DraftKings tonight. I would have played a lot of him if I was playing MME. They were over there tonight. That was a great call by you yesterday. He had the volume in the first half, just didn't make a whole heck of a lot. Let's see, what did he end up with in this first half? Because again, a lot of these guys on back-to-backs here, I think it's pretty safe to say that Washington, as it stands, pending a ton of value, which we're going to get a lot of value tomorrow, don't get me wrong. But looking at Kispert, 19 minutes, led all starters in the first half by a landslide there from Washington. 5 more minutes than anybody else. 2 for 6 from the field, only 1 for 4 from 3. There's some time for him to maybe salvage it, but 19 minutes. I had him projected for 36. I thought he was going to play a lot the more I looked into that. So I was about 3-4 minutes higher than most other spots that I was looking. But let's head it over to FanDuel, shall we? Anything else for you from DraftKings?
No, 11 game slate. Tons of news could be tons of news is going to be on the table for us. So keep an eye on that situation.
We got DeJounte Murray, Luka Doncic, 10-8 and 10-4 respectively. Trae Young, 10K. Why is he only 10K? I don't know. That's going to be a popular guy. Darius Garland, it's a terrible spot against Dallas, but Dallas is on a back-to-back. He's playing low 40s minutes. He's going to have to start subceding some usage to Caris LeVert here going forward, as Caris LeVert's playing a lot more minutes, but it's still 9,200 for a guy that's shown that he's going to be the centerpiece of this team. But I want to ask you about Jordan Poole. He's sub 8K now. Chris Paul has been inflated up to 8,200, not the ridiculous $6,600 number that we're looking at, but Jordan Poole is in the same range as Tyrese Halliburton, Brandon Williams, 7,600 and 7,500 for them respectively, and Fred VanVleet, 7,400, Kevin Porter, 7,200. But Jordan Poole against Phoenix, very, very tough spot. But this guy has been incredible in the absence of Steph Curry. Very last game of the night. Do you have any Jordan Poole interest on this slate against a terrible matchup?
I would rather save and fall on a guy like VanVleet at $7,400. I think that makes more reasonable sense to do with the tough matchup situation. Here up top, we do get Luka and Trae. And as crazy as it sounds, I prefer Luka more on FanDuel than I do on DraftKings because Trae gets the 3-point bonus on DK, and that does go a long way over there on DraftKings. So that's how just the pricing works out over there. In terms of spending down a little bit more, you get Tyus Jones again, 5,800. We just haven't seen him play full minutes, and he continues to still produce at a great point per minute clip. Tomas Satoransky is $3,900, so he's, I think, a consideration to go to as well. Halliburton, 7,600, Denver, I think is you can definitely play him. They're just rolling out the minutes for him. Okay, D'Angelo Russell is $5,500. We touched on this situation last time. I think tournaments, he's definitely in play just because he has the upside to get you 40 fantasy points and 5,500 at 40 fantasy points.
And Malik Beasley is going to be out for a while.
Yeah. And Jalen Noel is also the min, 3,500. Has been the immediate beneficiary there. But don't keep an eye on that Boston rotation. The game was a blowout a little bit. They did close with the starters, I believe. So it's tough to look at that type of game environment. They were down 25. They went on a run, and the starters came back in. So That's how I'm looking at the point guard over there. And then shooting guard options. Some are guys that we touched on DraftKings. I do think spending down here a little bit. Lonnie Walker might return, but you get the likes of Karis LeVert, only $5,200. He seems like an awesome play at that price tag. You can go to Keon Johnson again, sub 4K. They will get Greg Brown back, so there's another body in the picture, but Keon Johnson should still get some minutes for this Portland team as well.
I think even a 6,300 Teo Maledon is a thing you can actually consider if Trey Mann's not going to be there. That's going to be an OKC situation to pay attention to. Atlanta, they've been playing a little bit quicker of late here, and you're going to have a shorthanded team. No Shea for the rest of the year. Giddy out for the rest of the year. Kenrich Williams, Ty Jerome, all those guys continuing to be out, in addition to Darius Baisley out for the rest of the year. So looks like you're going to have some value on both sides of that one. Trey Young, underpriced. Trey Mann, underpriced if he ends up playing. But Teo Maledon, 6,300 is probably going to play and be a decent play regardless of anything there. That's just crazy to say out loud. 6,300 Teo Maledon's in play. What a world. What a world.
Yeah, it's a little too expensive for my liking on an 11 game slate. Like we saw Teo Maledon's upside game yesterday, and that's how I think it will be. So I'm a little less interested in that price tag, but sure, in long shot tournament plays, you can definitely fall on him, but I'm a little hesitant to go there.
Yeah, I totally get it, but I'm saying 6,300, I mean, out of the middle of nowhere. It's a guy that he can land on. Whenever I say this, I got to be careful because there's going to be a great mid-range player too as well. This just sets up with 11 game slate on March 30th. You should just think stars and scrubs right from the get-go. You should just know you're going to be paying up and you're going to be paying down all over the place. There's going to be great mid-range. My thing is with FanDuel, you can land on the mid-range a lot more just because the pricing's softer top to bottom. Whereas on DraftKings, you just get value that shows up and you kind of know what to do with it with the 8 roster spots on DK. FanDuel, again, there's just so many good plays that are going to show up that he's like my low-owned pivot off of a Jalen Green. Like Jalen Green, 6,400, Teo Maledon, 6,300. That's kind of the way that I view it.
Oh, for sure. And I think it's something that's an 11 game slate, 22 teams on the slate. We could get 50 pieces of news by the when the slate's all set and done.
We could get it by the end of this show. Just absolute madness here. Let's do it. We've got guard, top end over on Yahoo. Our sponsor, Luka Doncic, 53, DeJounte Murray, 50, Trae Young, 47. You pay up for nice things on Yahoo. That's the way it's supposed to be. CJ McCollum, $37 going into Portland. His return to Portland. I got to think that counts for something. Even though Brandon Ingram's back there, still playing limited minutes. It'll be fascinating to see how many minutes Brandon Ingram plays going forward. But CJ McCollum in his return spot, point guard only. That's a bummer, but $37 for him. Halliburton, $34. He's at shooting guard. I think that's always going to be intriguing. We've talked about a number of these guys from Houston against Sacramento. I mean, this game, for as bad of two teams as it is, it's just going to have a lot of fantasy goodness that exists. The total's already out, 233. That feels even low to me. And Davion Mitchell's $21 over there. De'Aaron Fox already got ruled out. Kevin Porter Jr., $22. I mean, that game looks awesome. I think all the prices look awesome on these guys. What sticks out to you on our sponsor site, Ryan?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting situation up here for guard. I do like the McCollum narrative, but Van Vliet is only $29. If you were to go, you got to have a ton of interest in Van Vliet for the upside alone. I think Garland is very cheap at 36. I know there's Karis LeVert is going to be in the lineup next to him, but $36 Garland seems nice to target. Ton of spend down options, honestly, here. Sub $16 and under, you get Tyus Jones, you get Maledon, you get DiVincenzo, you get the likes of Jalen Noel, CJ Ellaby, but also Karis LeVert at 18. So the bottom tier is pretty loaded. Up top, we touched on Trae Young and Luka on other sides, but Trae Young looks really nice here. Cheapest among him, Murray and Luka, only $47 here.
Luka already got to his 3-point prop number. Shout out to everybody who was able to get on that on the Locks Before Locks show. Come hang out with us. He's already at 3. That number was at 3 on a number of different sites. But 3.5 was the prevailing number on sportsbooks. One more for a lot of those people playing and tailing that one. I'm hoping for it. They're up 66-42 on the Lakers. 4 minutes left to go in the second quarter. What a garbage fest. What an absolute garbage basketball team, Ryan.
That's unfortunate that they are. I would like it to be a competitive game for my personal reasons, my Russell Westbrook exposure, but I don't know what's going to end up happening. For the second half, they might just rest all their starters. Ugh, this is rough.
Russ 12-3-2. We have a Trevor Ariza sighting back in our lives. That's fun times. You know what's
Avery
actually
Bradley. Oh my God, they went deep.
You know what's actually good times? Playing over at Yahoo, our sponsor site. We were just talking about them. Best place you could possibly put your money because they have the lowest rate. Now, also, in addition to that, you have 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. You get just by signing up. You deposit $10 or more, play in any of the great contests that have the lowest rate, like I just talked about, and you will get 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. We have the Masters next week. We have MMA, NASCAR, F1 introduced into the fold. We have esports. We have MLB starting up in less than 2 weeks. We've got so many sports and offerings here for you. Just by checking out Yahoo, you'll get a free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum to see everything we have behind the paywall. Use it, love it, promise you'll enjoy it, promise you'll be profitable over the long term using these tools. So stop guessing, start winning. Join us here at Awesemo Plus, but do it in order to play at Yahoo. Thank you so much for their sponsorship of the Slate Starter podcast. All right, checking in on the Twitter Spaces, people. Who's hanging out here? We've got Ryan, John, Jeff. We've got Greg. We've got Piojo Promotions again. Keith, Ty Blunt. Good to see all of you guys. Wanted to give you a shout out once more. So nice to be able to talk live as we're doing this show. Let's jump over to forward. Anything interesting happening in the NBA front right now other than the Lakers getting murdered?
Yeah, Zach LaVine scoreless through 2 quarters.
Seems bad.
Yeah, especially when you pay to score the basket. Seems pretty bad, wouldn't you say so? But no, all the underdogs are winning, I think. Detroit's winning, Philly's winning, except the Mavs and the Wizards are winning right now. But 25-point game for the Lakers. This is going to be the Kent Bazemore show. Say less. As Kent Bazemore has entered the rotation, this is a disaster of a slate. Oh, my God. All right. Let's continue.
As Ryan has a convulsion, that's fine. To the forward spot we go. Tatum 10-5 probable. That's way too much against Miami. Going to be pretty easy to write off that entire game for me outside of Butler, who's 8,600. Maybe get to a little bit there. Maybe a little bit of Bam, 8,400 on the DraftKings slate, but literally don't want to try to attack anything with Boston, even though Robert Williams is out. That's a big piece missing in the middle. Maybe more Bam than I'm thinking, but talking through it, no Tatum, that's for sure. Siakam, 9,600 going up against Minnesota. We've seen some massive upside from him of late. Julius Randle, 9,300. Came off a very disappointing outing for some. 28 minutes, 1 for 9 from the field, under 30 fantasy points. This is a great bounce back spot, though, going up against Charlotte. That'll cure a lot of problems. Porzingis, he's been playing back-to-backs. I can't imagine that he won't be playing this one. 8,900 for him against Orlando, but it really gets interesting talking about Şengün. And I know to just kind of jump here, but Sacramento and Houston. If Şengün doesn't play, in addition to Christian Wood already being out, Jae'Sean Tate, 4,500, KJ Martin, 3,600. These are the guys we're going to be relying on in tons and tons and tons of lineups. And if Şengün does play, fire him up at will, even at 6,900, or are you looking to shy away at that number?
No, I'll be pretty interested in Şengün, but up top here, it's a pretty solid up top region. I mean, you do get Tatum, Siakam, Randall, a lot of sticker shock among these guys, and I think you can definitely go to Porzingis. You do get Brandon Ingram. They are almost in the play-in game. They're in the play-in game right now, but they're almost like close to locking themselves in with a nice little winning streak and a Lakers losing streak. So they are inching there some pretty close. Zion Williamson made the road trip to Portland, so he might be playing for this Pelicans team in a first-round matchup against the Phoenix Suns. It could happen. I'm just saying. But Keon Johnson's expensive. Not expensive. He's okay to fall on just because of the minutes. But I do prefer KJ Martin at $3,600. That makes a lot of sense to fall on. Even Jae'Sean Tate, 4,500. Şengün looks awesome, even at 6,900, just because of the matchup against Sacramento. So I know Pokusevski burned a lot of people, but if they're going to continue to be limited, he can still put up 40 for you. It was a very slow start, but he finished the second half really strong. It was unfortunate. It wasn't enough. I had so much Pokusevski last night And was the reason. There's the difference between him and Eubanks ended up outscoring him, right?
Eubanks murdered him. Yeah.
Yeah. So that
By
was the
like
big
10
difference.
or
Yeah, it's a pretty
20.
big
It was
difference.
something ridiculous.
Oh wow, Eubanks put up 50.
Eubanks, I think, put up 50. I think. Let me double check as I'm saying
Wow.
that. I know he had 46 at one point because he was in all of my $20. Yeah, he put up 60 on the number last night. I had a lot of
Wow.
him. It was
Wow.
fun. On DraftKings, he was sub 10%. That was enjoyable. He was in all of my $200 3 max stuff. It was great.
Ooh. Yeah, no,
Didn't win, so whatever, but good
I
times.
chose to go to the Pokashevsky route and said clearly didn't work out, but here we are. But that's really about it. I mean, there's some questionable guys in Atlanta that can change some things with Hunter and Gallinari. DeAndre Hunter looks fine at 4,900 if you're looking for some mid-tier exciting, like non-exciting value.
That's the right way of putting it. Over on FanDuel, Jason Tatum 9,600. I don't know why Brandon Ingram got this price hike up to 8,800. He's 7,300 over on DraftKings. He put up 40 right out of the gate, but it's just one of those spots where it's like I don't really know what to say. Why is Brandon Ingram the second most expensive forward on the board there? Small forward on the board, should I say? You have Siakam 9,500, power forward only. Porzingis 8,900, better price tag over on FanDuel at the identical number that he's got over on DraftKings, but with the different salary floor, better play there. But Julius Randle 7,800 is just a glaring price tag. And if you want to get any exposure to your guy, Drew Eubanks, we just talked about, 7,500, it's weird to say it, but I don't think he's completely out of play, do you?
So, not completely out of play. I don't expect him to put up 60 again. Greg Brown can play some center if needed. He can play some front court minutes, which will take away from that ceiling that we've seen with Eubanks of late. So that's the only reason there. But other guys around here, the Houston guys stick out a bunch. I mean, Jayshawn Tate, 4,100. KJ Martin, you can play at 39. Karis LeVert has small forward eligibility at $5,200. These guys look solid. And spending up sub 8K Jimmy Butler against Boston. Against Boston makes things difficult, but all of a sudden Miami is like falling out of the 1 seed. I think a win or two the other way for Milwaukee Boston's the 1 seed right now. Boston is the 1 seed. So this is a big matchup for seeding. And looking at power forward options, you can definitely go to Porzingis again, but spending down Şengün sub 6K, $5,800 looks solid. I think you can play a Chuma Okeke at 4,600, definitely. Greg Brown's in play at $3,500 just because I think he's going to play some of those Watford minutes that since Watford's gone for some time. So I can definitely see him. And then a sub 5K Draymond Green, I will still play him. So just because
I would expect nothing less
because of the upside Draymond does have.
All righty, we head over to Yahoo, our sponsor, running out forward. Then we're going to do Twitter Spaces. We're going to take some questions at the end. But Jimmy Butler, $35. Jason Tatum, 44. Sorry, skipped over him. Julius Randle, 35. RJ Barrett, 35. You're getting a lot of these guys that are going to be $35 and cheaper. Almost a punt by default, even on an 11-game slate. That's pretty crazy to say out loud. But a couple of the guys that I have highlighted, Keon Johnson played 42 minutes. I know it was bolstered by 5 minutes of overtime, but that's 37 minutes at small forward. He's just $11 for a shorthanded team. You have Grant Williams in the starting unit for Boston going forward. I absolutely hate targeting anybody against Miami, but he's $11. That's the nicest thing I can say. Aaron Wiggins is $12. OKC, pending Trey Mann, could be extremely shorthanded again. Aaron, he's just got to be a guy that you look at as in play there. You've got Jared Vanderbilt, $15. So many cheap forwards. Looks like a spot I'm going to be punting a lot. Are you going to be joining me, Ryan?
Yeah, a ton of cheap forwards. I think, punting down here looks like a fine option to do so. I have no issues if you want to punt down here. But, guys like Keon Johnson, Satoransky, Hachimura, Corey Kispert, Martin, all of these guys are 10. Even guys like Chimezie Metu, Chuma Okeke is only 16. All these guys look outstanding to me, so I have no issues to play one of these guys in any sort of fashion. If you want to spend up a little bit, Jimmy Butler's only 35. Kevin Love is 16. Yeah, Kevin Love's getting some extended minutes of late, and you know why he's also going to be in play? Because of no Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley is hurt with an ankle injury. So Kevin Love, we might get some vintage Kevin Love minutes. I mean,
oh my God,
30 plus Kevin Love minutes. He's a 10K player. I mean, I'm kidding, but not really. Kevin Love has that upside of just putting up 2015 games like he used to back in the day.
Minnesota, those were good times. I missed them, but also Minnesota's good again. So, there we go. And they were never really good with Kevin Love. He just got stats. To center we go. Nikola Jokic going to be your highest owned spend up. No question, period, end of story. He's 12-4. The next guy at the position is Siakam, power forward / center, 9,600. You've got Towns, 9,600 we're looking at there. Bam Adebayo, 8,400 against Boston. I talked about him maybe being a guy to rely on. Drew Eubanks up to 8,100. I think we could probably do a little bit better than that, even though, he just showed that he has some massive upside. Jakob Poeltl, I probably prefer, even up against Steven Adams, 7K. Kevin Love, you can play there at center. You've got DeAndre Ayton with all the family back in town, less appealing against Golden State, 6,900. But I want to ask you, because there's definitely one guy on this sub 5K spot that I just have to be highlighting and circling. I don't know why he's not playing as many minutes, but Sacramento, Damian Jones is 4,800. You're looking at Alex Len possibly not being there. I mean, they have to. And I mean, just have to play him more minutes alongside Metu, don't they? I mean, this is getting a little ridiculous.
They should be playing him more minutes, but they also have another guy from Portugal, Nimas Queda, who they've been saying, Sacramento beat reporters saying should get some minutes down the stretch. So the Damian Jones experience might be proceed with caution, but I mean, at that price tag, you would like him to play some extended minutes, especially against Houston. You're going to have to like that price tag matchup, all things put together. So he definitely sticks out for what he's worth. He's only 4,800, but the center spot on an 11-game slate, what's the opportunity cost? It's Nikola Jokic taking on against the Pacers. Jokic is it might be a 100-point fantasy game, and I'm not kidding.
He's going to be the highest on spend up, not even remotely close.
Yeah, he's going to be popular for sure, just because there'll be enough value to spend up on. But I think looking down a little bit, Jakob Poeltl's 7K. I think he's fine to fall on. I think Eubanks a little expensive, 8,100 with the return of Greg Brown there. Clint Capella, 6,500 seems fine to fall on. But I think, honestly, the center is like Şengün, Cat, and Jokic, the way it looks like right now.
Agreed. Same thing over on FanDuel. I don't even know.
And Siakam.
Siakam, but yeah, power forward / center. Nikola Jokic, 11-4. Karl Anthony Towns, 8,900. Some actual opportunity cost or some actual savings there, but I still prefer Jokic because let's be serious. 11-4 is just a broken tag. Jakob Poeltl's also inflated. Bam Adebayo, you can play a power forward. I don't even know what else I want to say. Do you have anything else outside of Jokic, who's just a jam for me on FanDuel?
Yeah, he looks great. I mean, there are some solid spend down options in guys like Cat at that price tag for sure. 8,900 can put up 50, and you'll take it. But Jokic truly, I think his ceiling is 100 points tomorrow against the Pacers if they make it a close game. Remember, the Nuggets are trying to not go into the play-in game. They'd like to avoid that at all costs, but they'd also like to just win the game. It's like a game that they should win. And Jokic is also should win MVP, as we've been saying on the Slate Starter for a little bit. But I think other FanDuel centers that we've seen the upside from of late, Şengün, definitely in play at center only. Kevin Love, $5,300. And another guy is Mitchell Robinson, has been playing extended minutes, putting up great block numbers and playing good overall basketball to the point where Thibs is playing him Thibs type of minutes. And the Knicks have been winning games. They're not completely out of it. They have to run the table, but they're almost out of it if they lose tomorrow. So they are playing for something.
All righty. When we head to Yahoo Center, round this Slate Starter podcast out, we kind of went surprisingly fast, under 30 minutes here. Let's keep it going. Nikola Jokic, $56. Pascal Siakam, $38. Strict positionality, so you actually have to make some choices, but Jokic is the clear choice for me. Porzingis is $35. That looks decent enough compared to, him and Bam Adebayo being identical numbers at 35. You talked about Cleveland. Kevin Love is a guy that You're going to be playing over a power forward here, I believe. So don't have to worry about him taking up your center spot. It's another clear-cut spot where if Şengün is playing $21, I want to play all of that. Drew Eubanks, $24 actually has entered the chat as well. That's a decent enough spot to go to his direction. I don't see a lot down here on the cheap end I want to go to. I mean, you could always make a case that Denver blows Indiana out of the water in 3 quarters and you just play DeMarcus Cousins at $11 to get super, super different. But there's some opportunity cost because, as you said, Jokic, 100 points seems good. What sticks out to you on our sponsor site to round out the podcast?
Yeah, I like that Cousins type of thought. I know it's an 11-game slate, but Cousins can put up 30 against the Pacers in limited minutes. Looking around here, Şengün. It's going to be Şengün at that price tag. I don't mind playing Şengün at all. I like him a lot at 21. Damian Jones is $10. But if you want to spend up, Jokic is there. Porzingis is center eligible. Guys like Jakob Poeltl at 27 make solid, and Mitchell Robinson. If OKC continues to be shorthanded, Roby plays a ton of minutes. So these are some solid guys. And Cat, you're getting him at $37. There, the upside should be definitely possible to go to. Look, he's cheaper than Siakam. We've never really seen that before. And it's happening under our sponsor. So I like playing Cat on Yahoo a significant amount.
All righty, y'all. That is the NBA Slate Starter. My goodness. That was the Slate Starter podcast here for Wednesday, March 30th. Once again, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button. That goes such a long way for us. If you are not yet a member here at Awesemo, we'd love to have you here on the YouTube streets. That goes a long way for Ryan and for myself and all the Twitter Spaces people. Thanks for hanging out. We're not going anywhere, but we are going somewhere on YouTube. Ryan, any final words for the people?
No, I feel like maybe a lot of people got burned like we did today. It's part of the process, and I think fluky outcomes can really burn you and be upsetting. For me, it was Dwight Howard, but I know some people are probably upset on performances from like Embiid, or Embiid's turned it around, but people just not panning out. So time to bounce back. I'm already looking forward to tomorrow.
Look at 25, 6, and 5. That seems good. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Looking forward to talking through Thursday's slate. Best of luck on Wednesday's 11 Gamer.